Hello everybody, MD Polo here. Thank you for joining me. On the table today, we're going to take a look at the HK USP 45 CT V1. No, I'm not going to say that 3 times fast, but this USP 45 CT, the V1 means that is the safety decocker variant, and we'll go into that a little bit later in the video. Now there's a lot to talk about this pistol, also because I enjoy the history behind it, the military involvement, and the reason this pistol was created. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to spend the first part of the video giving you the historical background on how this pistol came to be. Then I'm going to give you the specs, because there are not a lot of videos out there on YouTube regarding this particular model. There are plenty of videos on the newer versions of it, but not this particular model. Then I'll give you this, like I said, the specs, then whatever cons I have on the pistol, which are few, but there are a couple, and then I'll give you my final impressions. I will also put a timestamp on the comments, so if you wish to jump around, you can do that as well without having to sit through the whole thing, because I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit on the long side of a video. So let's get started. In the early 1900s, SOCOM began its search for a new pistol for their elite units, like the Navy SEALs, among others. This pistol had many requirements, among them being it had to be suppressor ready, it had to have night sights, and like I said, we're talking the 1990s, somewhere in there. It had to be able to accept most of the lasers and lights that were available at that time, and it could accept any of those lasers available in the market or lights as long as they were compatible with the HK proprietary rail. This search resulted in the 45 ACP HK Mark 23, which was released in 1996. For those of you that may not know, USP means Universal Self-Loading Pistol. This was designed to incorporate many features that the military and law enforcement agencies deemed vital for them to adopt and operate this pistol. The Mark 23 was everything that SOCOM wanted, but it turned out to be a pretty large and a heavy pistol. Very heavy, actually. Today, the Mark 23 commands a hefty price tag. Most of the ones you're going to find, they're going to be in the used market, and due to the military provenance of it, I've seen them go easily for $2,500 or more. Around the same time, the HK was developing the Mark 23. Also, they started developing the USP line of pistols. And amongst those pistols was the one you see on the table today, the USP Compact. As is often the case, the Special Forces guys, even though there might be a special pistol that is adopted by their command, like in today's case with the 6-hour M17, the Special Ops guys often sneak in a pistol or end up using whatever they want to use and not necessarily just what has been adopted. And we see that today quite often with the Glock 19X, which is used by several operators or teams instead of the adopted SIG M17. So this is what happened with the HK USP CT that you see in front of you. This turned out to be much more of a compact pistol, lighter, and it really impressed with their accuracy, the size, the weight, and especially how reliable it was. So this pistol was adopted, and it was marked or known as the Mark 23-1. Then around 2010 or 2011, a newer version of this pistol was designed in collaboration between HK, Larry Vickers, and Ken Hackathorn. Those names are synonymous with special ops, with a lifetime of history in the business. So the collaboration between the three created the new version of the HK-45. And this new version was meant to replace the older HK-45 CT. But again, this new pistol turned out to be bigger, and heavier than the one you have in front of you. This new pistol, the new HK45, was designated as the Mark 24-0. Now I know that there's a lot of HK guys out there that are very, very knowledgeable and borderline fanatical about the HK and the lineage. So if I'm misstating something, if I'm misspeaking in some way regarding the pistol, I ask you to please leave it in the comment section. Be kind about it and let me know what I'm misspeaking. And excuse me for the noise that you hear in the background. I'm taking a pistol out of my range bag because I want to include it in the video. So there it is. So the pistol that you have in front of you, and it has been safety checked, but let's take a look at it now, just as an abundance of caution. The HK45 CT, HK USP 45 CT, shipped with two 10-round mags, so 10 rounds of 45 ACP. And these plates that you see here, they're commonly known as the elephant toe or the elephant foot. And I think it's quite self-evident the reason for that. But they're very high quality metal mags with this huge base plate. And later on we'll talk about this because it falls into one of the cons. So it ships with two of these. Here's the second one. And while I'm doing this, I want to say thank you so much to my friend Chuck for lending me this pistol for the review. This is not my pistol. I really wish it was. Chuck is a fellow polo player and arms enthusiast. So once again, thank you, Chuck, for lending me this beautiful pistol for the review. This pistol has never been shot. So mint condition. So anyway, Chuck went out, and even though it's shipped with the two mags that are 10 rounds with the elephant toe, he wanted to also have the mags that fit this pistol that have the flat base plates. One has an absolutely flat and flush base plate, and the other one has the pinky rest, the pinky extension. These come with 8 rounds of capacity, but that's what you're going to end up with. So a lot easier to carry, conceal, and you can still get a full, I have medium-sized hands, you can still get a full grip in here, or you can get the pinky extension in it. And now for sure, you've got a full-size grip. So there you go. So now we got 4 mags for the HK USP 45 Compact Tactical. The thing about these mags are typical HK. Not only they were difficult to find, but they were also quite expensive. They were easily north of $50 each. So typical HK. Another thing that makes this pistol pretty special in the HK and the collector world, see if I can get the focus to work, it's actually what it's printed on the slide. Because there aren't that many that actually say, well, of course HK, but it say USP 45 CT. Most of them, especially the newer ones, are either going to say HK USP with a C or compact, but for it to be written all across USP 45 CT, there are not that many of them out there. It's not that common of a pistol, and the people that own them, they just don't sell them. So as I'm speaking to you, I'm going to start letting you walk around the pistol, take a look at it. Here you go. Earlier I mentioned the reliability of these pistols, and not only HK is legendary about their reliability, but it was a reliability of this pistol that impressed the operators on how reliable it is while shooting it suppressed. It's got the left thread suppressor, and which again is going to be one of perhaps the cons we'll talk about a little bit later, but very nice. Sorry, playing with the focus here to let it catch up to us. So very, very reliable, both suppressed and without the suppressor on. It just eats anything that you would throw at it. Now let's talk a bit about the specs. Let me get the mags out of the way so they're not in the field of vision. So the length of the pistol, we're going to talk about 7.09 inches, and that is going without counting the thread part of the barrel that sticks out. So from the end of the slide to the back, we're talking about 7.09 inches, and if you include the thread protector, we're talking about 8 inches. The weight of it is coming in at 1 pound 13 ounces. The height of it is coming in at 5.04 inches if you're using the flat base plate of the mag. So with the flat base plate, that's what you're at. And if you include the elephant toe, now you're talking about 6 inches from top to bottom. So it looks bigger, but you're adding about an inch, a little bit over that. The width comes in at 1.38 inches, and I don't know if the light is going to catch it, but from the outside, this is actually, let's see where the light's going to be. So from here, from the slide lock slide release to this side, so the two widest points on it, it's coming in at 1.38 inches. The trigger is a double action, single action, and the double action is a bit on the stout, let's say, side, and it's coming in at 11.5 pounds. So let's take a look at the trigger now, and it is a pull. I mean, look at that. That's taking a lot to make it go. But then once you're there, it turns into a completely different trigger, because it's look at the reset. It's going to be right there. Goes, boom. It's very audible, tactile, and you do feel kind of like a Glock style trigger where it pushes your finger. So it's very nice. And then it turns into a very smooth, light 4.5 to 5 pound trigger. Let's do it again. It is smooth. There's no creep. There's no plastic feeling. Just so from here, there's the reset, and it goes. So again, the double action is pulling at about, at least in this pistol, is pulling at about 11.5 pounds. And on the double action, the single action is pulling in at 4.5 to 5 pounds. It's got a safety decocker, so which is here. And so you can be here, and you can either put it on safety and carry it like a 1911, or you can pull it all the way down and decock it, and now you're back in double action. And this is something that it is reversible. It's not ambi, but as you can see here, it is reversible. Looking at the slide now, it came with night sights, and that was one of the requirements that SOCOM had. And they're true dot night sights. They work really well. It is a three dot combat picture. Let the focus catch up. The slide itself is made out of a single block of steel. Come on, focus. There it is. The slide itself is a single block is milled from a single block of steel, and is nitrocarburized. That's what the treatment is called, nitrocarburized. And it makes it very resistant to salt water and to adverse environments. And all the metal parts, including the controls, everything you see that is metal inside, also has the same nitrocarburized finish. The hammer on it is a no snag bobbed hammer, as you see there. The barrel is 3.78 inches and is called hammer forged polygonal, if I'm saying that correctly, polygonal rifling. And for those of you that may not know, the polygonal rifling increases the barrel life, and it also increases the accuracy of the pistol. And it does that by the way the rifling is inside of the barrel. It seals the gases more efficiently than a standard barrel. So it doesn't allow the gases to go around the bullet itself, but more on a propulsion side. Now, by no means I'm a ballistic specialist, but that is in a very layman's terms the explanation for it. Looking at the barrel itself, it has something similar to the Mark 23, and that is this O-ring right here. So you have your thread, and you have this O-ring right here. And what this does, the purpose for this ring is so the barrel lock, when the barrel slides and the lockup is consistent, it's supposed to be much more consistent and tight than barrels that don't have this. So that is the use, and it's supposed to increase the accuracy dramatically with the pistols that use this. This pistol it is ready for +P or +P+ ammo, but HK does caution that accelerated wear may happen with a repeated use of +P+ ammo. Now, as I mentioned earlier, HK uses a left-hand thread on the barrel. So the problem there is that most standard suppressors will not fit. See? So, including those that were originally made for the Mark 25 will not fit the USP 45 CT. So that is an issue. You're going to have to hunt for a suppressor that is specifically made for a left-hand thread. Now, looking at the frame, obviously it's a polymer frame, but it's polymer that has been reinforced with fiber. So it is a very strong, very durable frame. The ergonomics on it are surprisingly good because there are no finger grooves. It is straight, very much 1911-ish angle, but it doesn't feel blocky like a Glock. It just fits well in the hand, and I like it. I like the way it fits. It's got texture, very nice texture. It's not too rough that it's going to hurt your skin or rub you raw, and they make it go all the way to the top near where you need the support. A lot of pistols, they just leave this nice and smooth, and HK did it all the way to the top. It's got checkering in the front of the grip and the same checkering in the back of the grip. So you get great traction on the pistol. This is not going anywhere. You have some texture in the front with horizontal lines going across it, none on the bottom of the very ample trigger guard. And you got plenty of room in here for gloved hands and such, or if you got really big hands. You got the USP proprietary rail. It is not a Picatinny rail, so you either have to use accessories that are specific to HK, or you can buy the adapter that mounts on the HK rail, and it provides you with a Picatinny rail at the bottom. It does have, you can see here, a flared trigger guard. There are some people that like to hold the pistol, putting their finger around it like that. This is going to give you a very nice grip on that if you are of such habit. It's got the, people call it the European mag release, and I'm not sure why they call it European, because there's a lot, and actually most of the European guns don't have this kind of paddle release, but they call it the European mag release, and it is ambidextrous. You can activate it either side, either with your thumb or with your index finger over here, and it is very positive. It works very well. The mags just fly out of there I mean, this is a heavy base plate and it just spits them right out. So they work very, very well. So going back on top, there's no texture or anything in the top of the slide. It actually looks a lot bigger on camera than it is. So on this side, you've got the extractor, and you can see a little bit of red in there. It's because the extractor will double as a loaded chamber indicator. When there's a round in the chamber, this piece of the extractor will stick out a little bit, and not only is tactile, you could feel it, but you can see the red as well. Going down towards the bottom of the mag well, you can see the indentation right here. There's nothing in the front, nothing in the back. A little bit of flare in the front, which allows you to rest your pinky, but it allows you, in case you needed to strip a mag out, it gives you a perfect place for you to grip. You can fit your fingers there in perfect place. So let's take a moment and look at the inside. See if I can do this on camera without completely fumbling it, because it is not as camera friendly as a Glock would be, because you see this little notch right here. You have to line it up with here. So we've already checked that it's empty, but just one more time. So you bring it back there, then you turn it around and you got to press the button until it pops out. And I'm gonna have to use, I'm gonna have to use the mag to push this. There it is, kind of. That's what happens when you're dealing with a brand new gun. So sorry about that. There it goes. All right. So that was not the most graceful thing, but there it is. And you don't have to pull the trigger. It just goes. So all the insides, let's start taking a look at it here. Everything inside that is metal, you see the rails here, the rails are stainless steel. It is actually, going back a little bit to the frame, this is tremendously light. It's very, very light, so all your weight is coming from the slide. But everything that you see here that is metal has been coated with a special anti-corrosive chemical from Dow Chemical. So not only have the treatment that was done to the slide and everything that is against salt water and corrosion, but you also have the Dow Chemical anti-corrosive treatment on the inside of the pistol. So there's that. And let's take a quick look at the slide. And I'm not going to, well, I'm going to take all this apart, might as well. So here is the guide rod, which is a captive guide rod. And you can see the hook here. And here we got the polymer ring, and all this is part of HK's proprietary recoil reduction system. So taking the barrel out, if I can do this gracefully. Now remember, this is not my pistol, so I don't want to do anything to scratch it. But here's the barrel, typical HK, with a very nice polished feed ramp. But what it does with a recoil reduction system, you see how this hooks right here. So when it fires, it grabs and dissipates some of the energy with the polymer ring that is right here. So that was probably a second-grade explanation. Somebody can give you a much better explanation than I just did. Looking at the slide, now this is the heavy part. But look at this, it's just typical HK. The quality is there. There's no tooling, machining marks anywhere. Very, very nice. Beefy, beefy, strong. Just ready for battle. So let me put this back together. There it is. Then you've got your guide rod. It goes the other way around and it hooks into there. Then we got the threaded barrel. Oops. It goes in. Then put the slide back on. Always great to do on camera. And now for the fun part is to line this up. Stick it in, find that place where it goes in. And there it is. Test for function, and perfect. So the recoil reduction system that I mentioned about, according to HK, they are projecting the reliability, the life, to be at least 20,000 rounds, the service life of that guide rod. That's pretty impressive. So let's talk a little bit about the cons on this pistol. Like I said, there aren't many, but for me, one of the biggest cons is the mag capacity with the elephant toe. If they were able to stick 8 rounds here, okay, and I understand the technology was probably not there when they made this pistol in the 90s, but I'm sure HK by now can provide mags we can buy for this pistol that would allow us much more capacity. You got pistols like the FN 45, I forgot the name of it, the tactical, that is carrying at least 15 rounds, 15 plus 1 if I recall correctly. So I think that the capacity for this quality of pistol could be something that could be improved. So for me, just on a personal note, that's capacity. It would be one of the cons. The other one for me, and I've had this issue with other HKs, is the placement of the safety decocker. Even though it's very easy to actuate once you're holding it, I tend to fire with the thumbs forward high up on the slide, and it is not a very comfortable position for me to have that control. Now I can train around it and go do a thumb over thumb, but the way I do it now, this is not the most comfortable safety, like a 1911 where you rest it. It doesn't quite work for me, but again, that's just a personal note, and I'm sure I can train around it. The third one, and probably the last one for me, is the paddle mag release. If you can see here, I'm hoping the light can cooperate. Can you see how small they are? And that is in comparison with the other ones that you find in other HKs or in the Walther models that have it. They're much bigger. These are small, they're not easy to activate, and you really got to push hard on it. Now this is my only experience on, of course, with this pistol, is with this model, is with this pistol. So I'm not sure if it'll soften up, break up a little bit once you have some rounds through it. It loosens up, but it is small and it is difficult to get to make it work. So those are actually the only cons that I have on this pistol. It is truly a pistol that is made for war. My final thoughts on it, well, it's a pistol that is truly made for war. It's a combat pistol if there ever was one. It is built like a tank, obviously to the highest standards of quality and durability. It is comfortable to hold. It is reliable as to meet the highest expectations and demands of the world's elite combat operators. My suggestion is, if you're into this type of pistol and you can ever get your hands on one of them, I highly, highly recommend it. And if you can get your hands on a USP that has these markings, it's an even more of a plus. So here you have the old and the new. So this is actually the M17 surplus. So this came from a military unit, And here we have the USP 45. So if you want to take a look on sizes, let me see if I can do this around the camera. So this gives you an idea. This is the M17 on top, the SIG, and then the HK. Now you got the barrel suppressor, but I don't have a mag inserted on the HK. I mean on the SIG. I put a flat mag on this. So 2 military pistols. Happy with that. This one has the Wilson Combat grip module, but I also have the grip module that it came with. So that's it. Thank you so much for sticking through this video. We stuck at 30 minutes on the video. That's a bit on the lengthy side, but I think this pistol deserves the airtime that we're giving it. What do you think about it? Do you own one? Have you shot one? What do you know about it? Leave it in the comments below. Where did I misspeak? The history behind it, the provenance. If I need to clarify something, please tell me. And I appreciate your time. I upload videos every Friday morning and sometimes on Wednesdays with a shorter video about something of interest. I also post a lot of things on my Instagram and Facebook, so please do stop by. And we're approaching the 3,000 subscriber mark, which for me is very proud of. The channel is growing, so thanks to you. Once again, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, God bless.